Prioritizing our tasks. Now, I know this is a challenge for many people because I get tons of questions about it. How do I prioritize my day? Well, I have a method that I've been using for years called the 2+8 prioritization method. And it's a simple system based on something that will help you to really focus in on what's important each day. And today I'm going to share with you how to use the 2+8 prioritization method. Plus, I'm just going to run through the different types of tasks that we are faced every day. Now, in general, there are three types of tasks. The first type of task, which is when you're at work, probably the most important kind of task, is your core work task. Now, these are the tasks related to the job that you are employed to do. Now, you might think, well, of course, I will do the work that I'm employed to do. The problem that most people will find is that over time, they volunteer for work that isn't in their job description. You know, helping out with the end of year party, perhaps helping somebody else out, your colleague, or getting involved in a project that you really have not that much responsibility for. And then the second type of task is what I describe as the admin and communication tasks, because they are an inevitable part of life. We live in a connected world, and no matter where you work, you are likely to have to communicate with somebody or some people throughout the day. Now, the problem we have here, of course, is that we've got Slack and Teams messages, we've got emails, although phone calls, I notice, are kind of dropping off a little bit these days. But still, those messages keep coming in. And the third type of task that we have to deal with are just the random tasks that come from our projects that we're working on, the chores that we have to do. We might have to call the bank, we might have to set up a new account somewhere. All sorts of like admin tasks that just come our way. So those are the three main types of tasks that we get every single day, but what we need to do is to have a system that quickly sorts out the important from the not so important. Now, if you want to automate this as much as possible, and I can promise you, you don't need AI to do this, you just need about 10 to 15 minutes to actually take your core work and get that put into your task manager as a recurring task. Now, what is your core work? I hear you asking. Well, core work is the work that you're employed to do. Now, often I will give the example of a salesperson is employed to sell. This means any activity, any task that helps you to sell something will be a core work task. Another one which I put in my book, Your Time, Your Way, is the example of a truck driver. A truck driver is employed to drive a truck from A to B, delivering goods. Now, the thing is, a truck driver's job, therefore, is to ensure that they turn up to pick up the goods on time, get them loaded, and drive them to point A. It is not to spend hours and hours filling out administrative forms and environmental impact studies and all the other shebang that comes with it. That's not your core work. It might be work that needs doing, but it isn't your core work, because if you spend all day filling out documents and forms and everything else like that, then you're not going to get the truck from A to B and deliver the goods on time. So core work would be to deliver trucks. A teacher is employed to teach. Therefore, any activity that involves teaching or preparing teaching materials will be core work. Filling out student registration forms, attendance records, and all the other stuff, that's not core work. Yes, it might need to be done, but it should never be prioritized over teaching and preparing those teaching materials. However, there is one more part to the core work, which I've seen many people actually not do. You need to go to the next level. Now, the next level is what is the task that needs to be done to ensure that your core work is done. So let's take the salesperson, for example. the salesperson is likely to have to do some prospecting, i.e. sending out emails or messages or phone calls to contact potential customers. So that would be part of your core work. Perhaps you need to contact 10 prospects every day. Therefore, that would be on your task list as a core work task. Therefore, it is a priority task. Similarly with something like a project task, if you're involved quite heavily in different projects, then what is the task that you need to do in order to move the project forward? That could be to finish off a presentation file. It might be to complete a report. Well, that would be in as a priority task. Now, if you're into coding, if you're a software developer and you're coding, core work is generally quite easy. It's actually writing code. It's not planning. That's separate. It's actually writing code. It's being sat down in front of a laptop or computer writing code. That's your core work, and it needs to be set to recur as often as you need it to be recurring in order to meet your objectives at the end of the week. Now, the random project tasks and the chores and things like that are just going to pop up when they come up. There's not a lot you can do to automate these kind of things simply because they just pop up and there's nothing much you can do. But they still need to be done. Now, this is where the daily and weekly planning come into it, because then you can use the 2+8 prioritization method to decide which of these things are going to be or need to be done today. i.e., are they going to be a priority, or can they be pushed off to another day, or hopefully pushed off to next week? So those are the three tasks that we have coming at us, and we just need to be able to make sure we are very clear about what they mean, but more importantly, make sure that you have the tasks in a format that you can do rather than just some vague. I think the example is usually cat food. It might not mean anything to you in a week's time. So we need to be a lot more focused on what we're actually writing. So buy cat food, for example. Terrible, terrible example. Really sorry, but you probably get the idea from that. Now, I should say there is a fourth category of tasks which are actually very important, but most of these will probably be on your calendar. And these are what I describe as your areas of focus tasks. Now, this video, I'm not going to go into too much detail about your areas of focus, but your areas of focus are the life level tasks. These are the things like sending money to your savings account. It's scheduling your exercise for the week. It's things like that that are at a life level. They should just be automatically done, and really they should be on your calendar because they are critical at a life level, and these are the ones that often get neglected when we're very busy. Now, of course, if you go on a business trip and you're away for 3 or 4 days, you might choose not to do exercise while you're away. I know some of these conferences that many of my clients go on are quite heavy on the eating and perhaps drinking in the evenings, and therefore you don't really have that time to do exercise as you would normally do it. But then, having said that, as one of my clients pointed out, he often does 20,000 steps on a conference day because he's walking around all day. So you're probably still getting exercise. But these are the life level things. They will just probably filter into your task manager. For instance, I do have a task in my task manager to send money to my savings account after the last bill of the month is paid. That means anything that's left over, if at all, I can then move to my savings account. It just helps to kind of add to my regular savings account. So those are the tasks that we have to do. So where does the 2+8 come into this? Okay, so each day, before you finish the day, you look at your task list for tomorrow. Now, most task managers give you the ability to flag tasks. Now, what you want to be doing is flagging your 2 must-do tasks of the day. Now, these will vary. On a weekend, it's likely to be a personal task. During the week, it's probably going to be work tasks. But what you're doing is you're picking the 2 must-do tasks. These are non-negotiable. My mindset about my 2 must-do tasks is I cannot go to bed until they are completed, unless there is it's impossible to complete it at that time. Perhaps I'm waiting for somebody else, or I got delayed somewhere and couldn't get back to the office in time. But that is very rare, and I have to point out that that has only happened once in the last 5 years. I'll take that. So your 2 must-dos are exactly that. Your 2 tasks out of the 2 plus 8 are the must-dos, non-negotiable, you must do them. A quick tip here is try to get them done as soon as you possibly can in the day, because then it's off your mind, you're going to relax, you're not going to feel super stressed. Now, what about the 8 other tasks that are on our list? Now, it could be that you have 20 tasks, and that's perfectly okay. Just to give you a benchmark, I will have between 15 and 20 tasks each day. There are some tasks outside of the 2 plus 8 that can be done if I have time. But the 8 tasks, the 8 remaining tasks, are your should do's. These are the tasks that you're going to do everything you possibly can that day to get done, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if you don't do them. Now, you want to be monitoring this a little bit. If you're putting in your 2 must-dos and you're getting those done, but you're only getting 3 or 4 of the 8 tasks done, that might suggest that you're just being a little bit ambitious trying to do 8, and you can drop that 8 to another number. Quite often, particularly say on a Thursday when I've got a lot of meetings, I am going to probably only have about 4 tasks on my to-do list. Because I'm going to have 6 or 7 hours of meetings, there's no point in me thinking or hoping that I can do 20 tasks. It's not going to happen, and I'm not going to cause myself anxiety or stress by putting those tasks on there. I will reschedule them around the week to ensure that I've got a balanced week. So the 8 are your should do's if you get time, but keep an eye on it. If you're not consistently getting close to doing those 8, like you're doing less than 5 tasks out of those 8, then I would suggest you reduced the number. But the goal is to get those 8 done. And you will probably find that on most days, you will get those 8 done. Those that you don't get done, just reschedule them for another day when you can realistically get them done. Another thing you might find is one of those 8 tasks may become a must-do tomorrow, and again, that's perfectly fine. Now, the reason why the 2 plus 8 method works is because you're stepping back and you're prioritizing your day rather than doing what most people do, which is prioritizing on the fly. Now, when you prioritize on the fly, that means the latest, loudest noise is going to rapidly become a priority. They're not priorities in 90% of cases. It's just somebody else's urgency because they screwed up and now they're trying to get you to take responsibility for their mistake. Don't go down that road. This is why I generally recommend to all people, do the 2 plus 8 planning. It's part of the daily planning sequence, but do the 2 plus 8 planning the evening before. It's when you can just step back and look at what's important for you, your core work, your family and relationship, your areas of focus tasks, and those random tasks. Make a decision about what is important tomorrow. Make sure you know what your two must-do tasks are, and then allow the day to get started. I would also add one more thing, which is give yourself 30 minutes before you really start the day. So for instance, if you begin your day at 9 a.m., then don't start doing your focused work or any of your 2 plus 8 tasks until 9:30. Allow that 30 minutes to kind of absorb the day, sort of kind of connect with the day, look at what emergencies other people are trying to throw onto you, and then get down and do your work. It just gives you a sense of calm before you start. But that's it. It shouldn't take you any longer than 5 or 10 minutes every day. And it is an everyday commitment. You don't need self-discipline, you don't need motivation, because you know if you don't do it, the next day you're going to be all over the place. And that's never a nice place to be. So there you go. That's the 2 plus 8 prioritization method. It's worked for so many people. I've been using it for probably about 10 years now, and I never really miss anything. There are the occasional day where I'm under pressure and I have to work quite late into the evening to get these 2 things done, but it's rare, very rare indeed. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Now, if you want to learn more about how I plan the day using the daily planning sequence, then this video up here is the one to watch next.